This video is made possible by the following sponsors. Make sure to check out their products as well as the rest of my gear in the description below.
Hey guys, Sore Throat Boy here, and welcome back to Assetto Corsa for another video. In this video, I am back to try and beat another lap time. This one specifically is the 2000 Australian Grand Prix pole time set by Mika Hakkinen. The time to beat is a 1:30.556. and I'm going to be attempting to beat that in the awesome Formula RSS V10 mod. Now, some people might call this sacrilege because the Formula RSS V10 mod is based on the Ferrari from a 2000 season, not the McLaren. What I've basically done is just found a livery online, smashed it onto the Ferrari and gone, yep, that's a McLaren now. So if anything, let's get the excuses out of the way now. That puts me at a slight disadvantage because at the start of the season, the McLaren was a little bit quicker than the Ferrari, if not a little bit unreliable. So I'm going to go out onto the track now on the baseline setup and just see whereabouts in the ballpark I am. Again, the time to beat is a 1:30.556, so let's see how I do, I guess. So here we are in the pit centre at Albert Park, Melbourne, and I must say that I very much enjoyed driving this circuit. I think it stems back to when I was younger and didn't know how to change the track select in F1 97, and of course Melbourne's been the first race of the year for a very long time now, so I think I just drove it the most, so came to like it the most. But let's make our way onto the track then in our V10 F1 car. Of course, it's not quite a McLaren, but we're going to pretend it is with our McLaren livery on. Of course, the difference with the 2000 cars is that we do have the 4 grooves on the front end, meaning we don't have too much grip at the front. Of course, just to make sure these tyres are up to temperature before we really start pushing. Anyway, nice and easy out the pit lane. And let's just make our way around the circuit for the first time. Big challenge around here for me right now is probably traction and getting on the power. At the moment, I'm being used to driving the F1 cars in F1 2018. Of course, big, fat rear tyres, a lot more downforce in those cars and power. They're pretty much faster everywhere than these cars, so making a step backwards to a 2000 car, it takes a while to get used to, but I think you get there eventually. Now, of course, a couple of things to highlight as well, as this track is a mod track, so it might not be the most accurate in terms of distance, and in terms of how big the track is and grip and all that, but from my understanding, it has been taken from one of the F1 games. Kind of looks like it, of all the advertising around as well, and it works out okay. I think it's a pretty decent representation, so it should hopefully give us a good canvas to get going on. Now, on the baseline setup, I'm heavy with fuel. I've got about 50 litres in as well. It's just a baseline I'm trying to get here. I think I'm even on the medium tyre, so it's going to be probably a way off our time of a 1:30.556. But it's good to get a ballpark figure and then work down from there. So nice and easy through the lap so far. Need to really be using a lower gears. This thing, all the power is right at the top of the rev range. Coming up now to the final corner. A second gear through here. Might even try first. Yeah, first is good in the steering. Or maybe not. Easy, Jimmy. Remember, no traction control. Oh, saying that, and then almost spun coming out of the last corner. That's going to already hamper our lap. But we're just trying to get a baseline, so it doesn't matter too much. Anyway, shooting down towards T1. Top of 6th gear, down to 3rd gear, coming through T1 and T2, easy, easy, and now you get on the power through here. I have to be so patient on the throttle in this car. I try and brake at the second marker here. Can probably brake a little bit later than that. Just trying to make sure the car doesn't want to switch around itself. The gearing's a bit too long. Should really be in 2nd gear through here, all the way through. Lift through this right-hander, flat and modern day machinery, nowhere near in this car, even in qualifying trim, I imagine. Brake hard. See the car sliding at the back and then kind of forward drifting into there, not fast at all. And then you're greeted with the power of the V10 engine. Feel like it doesn't really matter what mistake you make in the corner, the engine will correct it for you, but of course that isn't really how it works. It's going to be so soft in those lower gears, it wants to just snap on you can feel it. Now I think this is 11 and 12 through here, I always get mixed up with a number, but very fast left right. You can see we're really struggling with the front end there. So maybe a bit more downforce, maybe a little bit more balance to the front as opposed to the rear. Heavy braking there, you can see I just got a little bit loose and had to turn out of the braking a little bit, and that really ruined the corner for me. Easy, easy, Jimmy. Car, I think the brake bias was a little bit too far back for now. We might change that anyway. Around the last corner, on the power. So what's our first lap time going to be around here? It's our banker lap, and it's a 1:32.991. So we're about 2.5 seconds off, give or take a couple of attempts. So some work to do, though. I'm not too unhappy with that. 2.5 seconds off on a fuel tank, not a full tank of fuel, but about 50 litres, and no setup changes. A very good start. So I'm going to go back to the pit lane, take some fuel out, and then I guess we'll just go from there. Right then, just preparing for our second lap. Changes that I've made some changes to the gearing to make sure we can use all our gears efficiently, and also taken back to qualifying fuel now. So the car is quite a bit lighter than it was before. I've not made any aero changes. I want to wait until I get a lap on the lighter car before I start doing that. But anyway, down to the first corner, top of 7th gear, brake at the second marker, tip it in, second gear, soft, third, easy on the front on the way out, a little bit of a slip there, but the car corrected itself as the downforce came on. Going to try and brake as late as possible here, let's try that. I'll probably brake a little bit later, the car not quite as stable as I want under brakes, so it felt like it was going to wiggle free a little bit there. On the power early, blend of the throttle back on, out to the curb there. Again, looking for my braking marker. Try here. Kind of hard to see the insides of that corner with the shadow over it, but we're good. A little bit skew whiff there on the curb on the outside. You can feel the car struggling for grip. And again, send it in steep as I think I can. That's okay. A little bit slow actually off the apex, I think. Angle wasn't great. Now hug the inside here. Line of least resistance. And easy out. And now for 11 and 12. As fast as you can be. Not terrible through there, could be a bit quicker I think. And then we've got 1:32.9 to beat. For our first time anyway. Oh, that was a bit slow through there. I didn't carry as much speed as I could have done. Again, blend the throttle through here, then back on again. There you go, nice. A little bit cautious into that corner. It's so easy to overshoot it. But here's a corner that's even easier to mess up. Easy, easy. Now go. So I'm going to look to the right. 1:27. Wow, 1:30.837. I've nearly beaten it already. That's a mega time. I thought it would be a little bit of a longer process to get to that time, but that means we're very close. We haven't quite got it yet, but I think with that time we would have been second on the grid, or maybe third after Coulthard. I can't really remember his time. But I'm going to go away, do a couple more changes. I think do a couple of aero changes just to get the car turning a bit better, and then try and take a stab at getting that pole time. So what I've done this time is I've made some adjustments to the front anti-roll bar and also put on a bit more front wing just to try and get the car turning in a little bit better in an effort to try and get our pole time. So hopefully that'll be enough for us. I think a bit of better driving as well will help. Easy, easy. Nail the throttle and exit. And here we go then. Pole time or bust. Up through the gears. 6th gear, 7th gear before we reach the line. Look to the left for our braking marker and try and brake a little bit past it. In we go nicely. On the throttle as soon as we can do. Nice. 4th and then 5th on the exit. Run the curb over and then back to the left. But really got to send it in here. That front brake bias tweak as well, like I forgot to mention, helping out a bit on decel on the way in. Nail the throttle there. Small lift. You see how small the lift is now? We can nearly go through there flat. We're already a 10th up. That'll be enough, I think. We'll try and carry it through the rest of the lap. Use all the aspro on the left there and a little bit more. Really exploring the track limits on this one. 7th for a moment and then back down through the gears. A bit late on turning there. That's a bit slow, that one. Have to balance the car on the throttle on the exit. You can feel the car wanting to get away from you, but you can't let it. A moment's lapse and you go around. A little bit fast into the first part of the corner there, but we managed to make it up in the second half. Half a second up, that front downforce tweak really helping. Heavy on the brakes now. The car feels so much more stable. I say that and I hit the throttle a bit too early, nearly lose it on exit. This car reminds you that you have to be kind to it. You can't throw it around too much before it starts getting bored of you. Easy out of here. Come on, the lap time's nearly there. One more corner. Accelerate hard. A bit of a twitch on exit, but we're up. And we're going to come across the line and we're going to smash the time. It's going to be a 1:30.141, beating out the pole time by 0.4 of a second. And a lot earlier than I anticipated. It's very rarely we get it that early. Only 3 laps it took us to get to that pole time. Which is Talking like that and driving this car is actually quite takes your breath away somewhat, which is why I'm a bit breathless right now, but my word, this car is fun. I think the track maybe is a little bit shorter, or maybe the car's a bit fast, one of the two, because as much as I like the idea of being faster than Mika Hakkinen, I'm not. But we've entered this a bit early, so you know what that means, guys? It means we get to go and do something fun and experiment. And I'm thinking that we're going to bring back a special guest on the channel that's not been here for a very long time. If this lap was breathtaking, this next one's going to be something quite special indeed. Yes, we are back in the Red Bull X 2010. I just couldn't resist seeing what this car will do around here. This is one of the fastest cars available in sim racing. 1500 horsepower. It's a fan car, so much downforce. This car is capable of lapping the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife, in 4 minutes flat. So I think it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect a time maybe under a minute around here at Albert Park. But we could either speculate about the time or go and do it. So let's get out on track and I'll meet you for our flying lap. Well, I hope you guys are ready because I'm sure not. This is literally my out lap. I've not done a flying lap yet, so I don't really know if I'm going to get round to it in one piece. But X 2010 versus Albert Park. Look at the speed already. We're already at the top speed of the McLaren and rising past it across the start-finish line. 400 kilometers an hour. Brake late. Turn the car in. It just sticks back on the throttle. Back up to over 200 miles per hour instantly. 6th. And then hold it for this right-hander. Bring it in. Easy. I say easy, this thing's got infinite grip. It's fairly impossible to spin this thing. Small lift through here because we're doing 300 kilometers an hour. Heavy on the brakes again. Just waiting. Trying to make sure the car is pointing in a straight line when I get on the throttle, because when you do, all hell breaks loose. There you go. Nice. Now up to turn 11 and 12. Got to be careful through here. There's not infinite grip in this car. That feels like there is. Brake on the way in. Turn, turn, turn. There you go. Through there. 280 kilometers an hour. Down to the last sector now. I have no clue what the time is. I have no time to look at it. Could be faster through there, but hey ho. For the last section now, that fan really helping us suck us to the floor. Full throttle out the last corner. I look up to the time, it's over a minute, but it's going to be a 1 minute 5.496. That is 25 seconds faster than an F1 car. Oh my word, you could probably go under a minute if you really, really worked it here, but just getting your mind around the grip is crazy. But guys, hope you enjoyed seeing the return of the Red Bull X 2010 and of course driving more of that awesome Formula RSS V10 mod. If you did enjoy the video, then make sure to hit that like button. Of course, if you really enjoyed it, hit subscribe and the bell notification icon, because that way you'll be notified of future streams and future videos. Again, a massive shout out to my patrons and to my sponsors and to you guys for clicking the video every time. Take care, have an awesome day, see you all next time.